Bruce, how the heck are you? It took me a little longer to get this going than I'd hoped, but I've made another version. I've been playing with this idea of a summer Manhattan. I do love the Manhattan. It is my absolute favorite cocktail, but it can be heavy, especially with that sweet vermouth. So I was playing around with different ideas, but I didn't really want to use the dry vermouth because it did need a little sweetness. I just didn't want to go as heavy as sweet vermouth per se. So what I decided to work with was the Blanc vermouth. So it adds just a hint of sweetness and brightness for the cocktail. Decided to put a foam on it, and I used some lemon bitter. So for this particular cocktail, I used the very last of my Wise Man whiskey that I got for my birthday. So May 24th, lasted just a little over a month, but I will say, I mean, a pretty fair amount was drank that night. Gosh, that's good. That was really good, man. I like the cocktail. It is nice and bright. I don't, will it catch on? Hell, I don't know. But I like the idea. I would like to kind of push it. I like to get it on a work menu for the remainder of the summer because I like the idea, right? Again, you got sweet vermouth, you got dry vermouth, but that Blanc is probably closer to the dry than the sweet, but it does add some brightness and sweetness. Whereas the dry is just gonna, it's just enough sweetness and brightness. Now, if you like a sweet drink, if you like you want your old fashioned sweet, this isn't going to be the cocktail for you. But if you like the idea of a Manhattan, right, a spirit forward cocktail, I really like this one, man. I did kind of a test run of it at work today just to see. I think there'd be a market for it. It kind of depends on what the clientele. Well, we are getting more of a cocktail clientele, so I would love to have, even though it may not sell right away, I would love to have this available for the spirit forward cocktail folks. Not everybody wants that sweet cocktail. I know it's hard to believe, but it is true. There are times. I mean, I get. I'm nobody's demographic anymore, but especially when we were on vacation last year, when I would look at cocktail menus, and everything had some kind of fruit. This fruit puree, this, that, or the other. I mean, everything was. It just. It just wasn't what I was looking for. Now I get again. I'm not the target demographic. That's okay, but I don't know why you still wouldn't have some spirit forward, non fruity cocktails on your menu because I mean, I can't be the only guy looking for a well done spirit forward cocktail. Ugh, man, that is just delicious. So pull my garnish out of there because it's just kind of getting in the way at this point. But had a little lemon wedge and I dropped a cherry on the bottom. Anyway, watch it. Ugh. See, it's got a nice color too. It just feels bright. I'm calling it summer in the city. You don't necessarily need the foam on it because you wouldn't typically in a Manhattan. Well, again, this one going a different direction. I do like the foam on there. Uh, I do enjoy making cocktails, though I do. We're doing kind of craft cocktails, and we're not where, um, at the moment anyway, we're not where we're batching a lot of stuff. Business picks up, we may have to, but I do like the idea that every cocktail is made to order. I know why places have to batch. I get it, but I think certain cocktails really need to be made by hand, made to order. I mean, the Manhattan being one of them. I mean, there are certain cocktails you can batch, and that's fine. But I don't think anything served in a coupe should. I mean, if it's a highball, yeah, right, yeah. Um, but yeah, Manhattan, a martini, yeah, you got to make those to the customer specifications. And I'm trying to get the reputation that I am listening to my customers, right? I will make the drink. This is the menu. This is the menu. But if I've got the ingredients back there, I will make the drink to your particular specifications. Because I think that's the clientele we want, right? Not necessarily those that are, want very specific drinks, but folks that know you and know you will make the drink for them. And also to know that I'm not just a guy making cocktails, right? That there's a certain amount of love involved, right? I know that sounds a little cliche, but yeah, I mean, I put a lot of time and effort into putting certain recipes together. Even the tried and true classics, right? Even though I didn't make up the martini, right? It's just the the way you put it together, the way you layer it, the way you chill it, the way you pour it, the way you serve it. I mean, all of these things come into play when you make that drink specifically for that customer. Then they know you care about them, and you care about what you're doing. You're not just grinding out a cocktail fast to get to the next customer. You're making that cocktail with patience and love just for them. And those are that's the clientele that I want specifically. I mean, folks that know, that come in on my shifts know I'm going to make that cocktail just the way they want it. That I'm not rushing through to get to the next customer. I'm making that cocktail with love, care, and patience just for them. It's delicious, man. I've only become familiar with the Blanc Vermouth only for about a month, to be honest with you. But now that I have a bottle, I've been really messing around with it. So even though I've only been working with it a month, I've only got about that much left because I've really been doing. I was doing a lot of different cocktails, but once I had the idea that I had to put together a summer Manhattan, I mean, once the idea enters up there, it becomes a moral imperative, right? I can't finish until the wheels will keep turning until I feel like I have an answer. And I feel like I do now. I mean, the whiskey will change. I only use this one because I had just a little bit of that one left. It just made sense. I would like to use this with the good rye, especially the Tiakida double barrel cherry barrel finished rye. Uh, the Blanc vermouth and lemon bitters. The lemon bitters, I think, are critical here. So been trying with different bitters to see which. And I like the golden aromatic. Actually, I like that because that adds a little bit of spice balance. But I, I really like the lemon specifically for this cocktail. Just lets everything balance out nicely. It's very enjoyable. Anyways, I did set up a second cocktail, so bear with me. I'm going to jump off camera and go pick it up. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry that took so long. If you're still with me, so this one is sort of, I would say, based on, but more using an old fashioned as a template. But I'm finishing up some product here, so I'm using. I think I forgot the bottle in the kitchen, but anyway, I've got the from Wood Hat Distilling here in Missouri. I've got their Montgomery County bourbon at 100 proof. As I'm trying to work through some stuff, and again, this cocktail is kind of based off or using an old fashioned as a template. I'm using that bourbon. I'm not using a simple, nor am I using a sugar cube. The sweetness comes from Tiakida candied orange. So a little sweeter version of, say, a Cointreau, maybe more similar to a triple sec. But I like the orange flavor better than your standard triple sec. It's just a nice product, but it is rather sweet, which is one reason I use just the whiskey and that product, and then no other simple. It didn't need any more. And then I used a citrus bitter to brighten her up, if you will. Oh, cocktails made with love by the whiskey wizard. Maybe it'll be a coffee table book. Sounds like a coffee table book, huh? Anyways, I digress. Oh, I just realized I forgot to check something when I first started this video. I got talking right away. Let me set this down and pick this up for a second. Hmm. Was there? It went away. I don't know what happened there. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, that's the other one. Yeah. All right. Anyways, let me set that down. Finish this up. Mm. I do like that candied orange. It is nice, but it is a little sweeter than say Cointreau. So you got to use it a certain way. And in this particular case, I'm using it so I'm not using any other simple. I'm not using any other sweetener. This is the only sweetener. So I use the whiskey, the 100 proof whiskey with that candied orange, and then an orange citrus bitter. So there you go. Uh, Everything's starting to relax now. Everything's starting to relax now, man. Mercy. I'm off tomorrow, so I thought I'd do a couple late videos tonight. I was feeling like cocktails. I had one beer earlier, but I've been struggling drinking a lot of beer lately. And as much as I do enjoy whiskey neat, I've really been enjoying the cocktails and putting the cocktails together per se. Coming up with an idea. So what if we did this, combine this with that? And hell, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but you never know till you try, right? My latest was the one I had just before this was that coming up with that summer Manhattan or an idea for summer Manhattan. And this again with this with the candied orange, just kind of a bright summer drink. It's not really an old fashioned because I'm not using sugar or a simple, but I'm using the old fashioned as a template. The idea of so the sweetener being the candied orange. If I was coming up with this cocktail for work, a couple ideas. I mean, I could use a Chiaki rum barrel finished, or the J. Riggers bourbon would be nice as well. I like using as many local or at least Missouri products as humanly possible. And dealing with distributors, I mean, your options are sometimes limited, right? Some will require a minimum or kind of a smaller operation. And some are more consistent than others as far as getting you the product when you need it. I do like to use as many Tiaki dot products as possible for that reason. The fact that they are right on it. I mean, you tell them one day you need the product, they'll come up with it the next day for you. So the turnaround is quicker, and the products are excellent. But sometimes for particular shape of the cocktail, I guess, or flavor style, however you want to phrase it. Sometimes I have another spirit in mind for a very specific flavor. But I'm trying to. The Tiaki products are done so well that I'm trying to reconfigure a lot of my recipes to use those products. I especially like to use their gin for my martinis. And their dry gin is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is very good. It's perfect for a martini. However, I put together my martinis in a very particular way. They've got another one uh, that's finished in Sauterne cast, so it's a little bit different, right, than your typical original dry. But I'm telling you, for whatever reason, it just works. It makes a perfect martini. And one of the reasons I wanted to use that particular almost a whiskey, the particular spirit, that particular gin, is I know nobody else was using it in that manner. And I can give somebody that cocktail, they're going to go, "Oh my God, that's different." And it's different than from what everybody else is doing. It just makes a, I mean, it's not what you would think, because when you think martini, you are thinking in a dry gin, but this particular gin with those slight barrel notes really elevate a martini. It just works. And that's kind of my idea with all of my cocktails. I want it to be a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. Because a lot of, I mean, you go to any lounge in town here doing cocktails, and they're all very, very similar. But I'm trying to stay in my wheelhouse, as it were, or more or less in my lane, I guess, because I'm the old guy and I like the spirit forward. So anything based on a Manhattan, an old fashioned martini. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel per se. I'm just trying to make it roll a little better, right? Or just a little different than it has before. So I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel with a martini or a Manhattan, but I want to put it together in such a way that other places aren't doing it the same way. That cocktail is nice, actually. Some may want a little sweeter. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. I'm not a big sweet cocktail guy, which is why I put it together this way without any other, without any sugar or simple, just to see using that particular bourbon. Now, if I was designing this as a cocktail to sell, like I said, I would use a different product. I think the J. Riggers would be great, but the rum barrel finished, the rum barrel finished Diakidal would really be perfect with this particular version of straight up old fashioned. Yeah, I prefer an old fashioned straight up, and I know that's not the case for most these days. People want that big cube, but traditionally, this is how the cocktail was served. Straight up in a coupe, which is how I prefer it for the most part. But I mean, I get it. I mean, if that's not the way you dig it, there's certainly nothing wrong with that either. Nothing wrong with having that ice in there. I'm not an ice guy, right? I want ice. I want a cocktail. I want a glass. I don't want ice melting. I mean, listen, you're gonna get some milk. It's a big cube. It's not as much time, yeah, but still. I'd rather have my drink chilled. The truth is, here it is. I mean, this is taking me a while to finish this video. Is my cocktail ice cold? There was some connection issues there for some reason. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, man. Anyways, it's time to wrap this up. Anyway, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker,